All right, everyone. WAPO's Kathleen Parker came out the other day and said Kamala Harris should step aside so that the 24 ticket is a little bit less weak. And she's like, well, I like Kamala. I was rooting for her. I'm working for the WAPO, so it's pretty obvious what my political intentions are. But, she just doesn't really fit the bill. She was chosen because she's black and female, and it formed a counterbalance against the old white doddering dude. The old outdated symbol of neoliberalism had to be counterbalanced with something new and hip and progressive and chic, which is literally why she was chosen for the ticket. And by the way, this is an unsung song in this particular article. You know that racist Jill Biden really hated this. She's an old white plantation mom on the same order as Hillary Clinton with the hot sauce in the handbag, Elizabeth Warren and her cheekbones, etc., etc. The younger upstart leftoids don't get along very well, other than ideologically at times. Kamala and Biden certainly, they sync up on issues like crime. They're both tough on crimers until they got into the White House. Now all of a sudden they want to defund the police. But they don't say that quiet part out loud. They don't get along together. The sort of Martha's Vineyard dwelling wine totalers of the old school Democratic Party don't really like the upstart left. The left to them is nothing more than a voting bloc, because they're political strategists. Unlike most political groups, they simply play to win. The ideology is completely secondary. This is the secret to their success, by the way. They don't have any principles. So they would go to the left and they would promise them, we're going to have more welfare and more diversity and I really, really like black people. That's why I carry Tabasco sauce at all times. Some Texas Pete or something like that. And then once the election happens, if they get elected, they completely ignore those issues. They throw a few crumbs to them and expect them to grovel and beg and vote for them in another couple of years. Kamala Harris should step aside. For political, strategic reasons, Kamala Harris is dead weight on the Biden-Harris ticket. She is. She's not well-spoken. She's not well-liked. Her approval level's far below those of Biden or Trump. Trump could randomly choose any Republican practically, and they would be more popular than Kamala Harris. Yeah, even if he, let's see, he puts up a dartboard, and it's got the names of all of the Republicans that he could choose from, hundreds of them. And he just throws a dart at random. Even if it lands on Mitt Romney, it would somehow be better. Kamala Harris is dead weight. She's assuming that there's a vice presidential debate, whoever Trump chooses. We're all hoping that it'll be someone who's competent. I would like that. Whether it's like a Kristi Noem, a Carrie Lake, or something like that, Tulsi Gabbard, she's probably at the top of the list, and I think you could do far, far worse than that, by the way. They're going to destroy Kamala Harris. So you're not going to get a bump from the vice presidential debate. That's point number one. Point number two, Kamala Harris tends to be a no-show politically. And somehow that's an improvement over her being a show. When Kamala Harris does come out in public, what does she do? She gets appointed border czar. She makes 2 trips to the border. Neither time does she visit the actual border. She takes a photo op with some agents that they hand-picked that actually like her and Joe, and they have a brief conversation and she leaves and says, well, I did my job now, didn't I? She's the AI czar. Has there been any major update on how the Biden administration plans to address AI other than it intends to attempt to create a corporate monopoly over it that it can control centrally? No, not really. I don't know that she's given anything other than one presser right after she was appointed. She met with some heads of some companies, gave a presser in which she chuckled at dead children, probably. I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm sure there was a few gaffe moments there. And then she went home. She decided to go home and do her own thing. She's not qualified for the position. The other problem, the third and the most major problem actually, is that let's say that you do like Joe Biden. So you're out of touch, you don't pump your own gas, or you never had any money to begin with, so you don't understand that Bidenomics sucks. You don't care about dead Yemeni kids or anything like that. You're a simpleton. You still support Joe Biden for some inexplicable reason. Do you approve of Kamala Harris? The fun fact is that there are a significant number of people who don't mind the job that Joe Biden's doing. Maybe not a glowing endorsement or something like that, but they're ambivalent towards it, like, well, he's better than Trump, because Orange Man bad. You got TDS, but they don't like Kamala Harris. The fact is that if you vote for Joe Biden come November, you are voting for Kamala Harris. There is a better than 50-50 chance, based on his age, based on his cognitive decline, based on his decline in health in general, that he will not serve out his full second term. Whoever he chooses, therefore, as his running mate, and he's sticking with Kamala, we've got insider knowledge, O'Keefe broke that a couple of weeks ago, will be the president of the United States. I personally believe, and I say this, and this is not meant to be misogynistic, this is just a statement of fact. I don't think that it would be helpful if the first female president was an unelected official, that they ascended to that office based on the fact that they were a running mate or something like that. I don't think that would be helpful. I don't understand why anyone who believes in, you know, the third wave feminism thing would want Kamala on the ticket at all. Because Joe Biden quite clearly is vegetating at this moment. He's a man in decline. He's going to be 83 on election day. He would be almost 88 by the time that his second term ends. Do you actually expect that a person that is as incoherent and doddering as him, who clearly has to take drugs before he gives a State of the Union address, he was literally doing the amphetamine face. They gave him Dextro, if I had to guess. They gave him Adderall. Do you really think that he's going to be able to make it through that second term? I mean, even if he's alive at the end of the second term, at some point he's probably incapacitated by a stroke or something like that. He'll be almost 90 fucking years old. What the hell are you smoking? Donald Trump's no spring chicken. Hell, there are concerns about whether he'd make it through his second term. And he's 4 years younger. And in better shape quite a bit, cognitively speaking. I know that the liberals try to astroturf and project on this issue, but I watch both of them speak. Trump has been a little bit off the wall with his speaking skills for a very, very long time, since before he was elderly, so I'm not as concerned about that. Joe Biden, meanwhile, was quick as a whip, actually, until about 10 years ago. And then he got a little bit befuddled, you know, as VP, and as president he's been much more befuddled. No, Kamala Harris should step aside, but I mean, she's not. The administration, according to insiders, and again, this was an O'Keefe sting piece by OMG Media, according to the White House Council on Cybersecurity, I believe it was, I can't remember his name, it was optioned, the idea of removing Kamala from the ticket and substituting somebody else, and what they said was, well, it wouldn't work, because she's a black female. All of the leftists would be up in arms if we replace her. Now, I mean, you could replace her with another black female, by the way. I guess they never thought of that particular strategy. I'm happy that Kamala will be on the ticket because it's going to drag the ticket down and make it easier to beat them. Because that ticket definitely needs to be beaten. Now, I mean, there are millions of people that are like, yeah, Biden's all right, but I don't like this Kamala chick. Hopefully they don't vote for the ticket. Hopefully they stay home or something like that. That's about all. Peace out.